Well, 5 people complained about our music being too loud in a single Sunday. Now, if you serve in church, specifically on sound, you already know this feeling, and it's never just one email, right? Somehow it's the email, plus the lobby conversation, plus the elder who pulls you aside, plus your spouse who heard something from someone at a small group. So what do? Maybe you buy a decibel meter, maybe you put a limit on the board, and then it's 3 weeks later and someone complains again. We decided to do something different. We took every page of sound data our monitoring system had logged since September, 1,800 pages of it, and did an exhaustive, comprehensive audit. And what we found didn't just answer the question, it changed how we think about sound entirely. Today, I'm going to show you exactly what we did, the 3 metrics that actually matter, including the one that I had never even heard of, and how you can install this same system at your church in about an hour. We've also created a sound monitoring guide that you can download for free, compiles everything that we learned. QR code for that is on the screen. Link is in the description. Let's get into it. So here's the thing about the music is too loud. It's one of the most universal complaints in church, right? It's also one of the most frustrating because it feels completely subjective. One person says it's too loud. Another person says it's perfect. A third person says they wish it were louder. And your sound engineer is backstage going, well, hey, the meter says 88 decibels, so I don't know what to tell you. For 15 years at our church, Central, we basically handled this on vibes. We, of course, trusted our sound engineer. We'd adjust if someone complained. We hoped for consistency. When we moved into our new building and we started doing a ton of hosting and rentals in our brand new space, we did something different. We installed monitoring software that logs detailed sound data every single service. Pages and pages and pages of it. Now, here's the honest truth. We didn't really do anything with that data. Our sound engineer monitored it, and we, knew it was there, but that's it. It was just there. That was until January 4th, which was the day that we got the email from one of our directors letting us know that 5 people had complained on a single weekend. 5. That's the most that we had ever had in a single service. And so we figured, okay, we need to stop just reacting to this and truly understand what's happening. So we asked our sound engineer to pull every log from September through the end of December. And he said, hey, just so you know, I'm gonna have to walk you through what all of these numbers actually mean, which sparked an idea. What if he didn't need to explain all of it? Now, I want to be really clear about something. I am not an audio engineer. I do not have a background in acoustics. I cannot read a frequency response curve, and neither can Pastor Justin, who spearheaded this project. Him and I have both served on worship teams our whole lives. We've dabbled in some recording software. We're not pros. And that's actually the whole point of what I'm about to show you. So, here's what happened. Pastor Justin took those 1,800 pages of raw sound logs and opened ChatGPT and spent about an hour prompting his way through them and came out on the other side with 3 specific metrics: loudness, safety, and bass comfort that now form our entire sound accountability framework. Not because the AI replaced our sound engineer, not at all, but because it gave us the literacy to understand the data, build a real system, and have informed conversations with both our team and our congregation. So let's walk through each of the numbers. Metric number 1, loudness control. How loud does it actually get? In the audio world, they call this max SPLA slow. In plain English, this is your peak loudness, the loudest moment in any given service. Our target is 92 to 95 decibels. We yellow flag anything between 95 and 98. Now, you might get a brief spike from a drum hit or a big moment in a song. That's normal. But any sustained time above 95 is worth investigating. Anything above 98 is a red flag. So here's what our data showed. Across 39 tracked events from September through January, our average peak loudness was 92.4 decibels. We had a pass rate of almost 85%. And the times we exceeded it, they made sense. Baptism Sundays read differently because the service structure changes the average measurement window. A couple of evening concerts were intentionally louder for rental events, and the PA has a built-in limiter for exactly that purpose. Now, to be clear, this is the metric most churches already sort of track, but sort of tracking it is the problem. You need a target, you need a threshold, and you need to actually log the data so you can see trends and not just react to an individual Sunday. Metric number 2, exposure safety. Is the overall volume across a service actually safe for people's hearing? The technical term is max LAEQ10. Don't worry if you forget, It's in the free sound monitoring guide. What matters is this. Instead of measuring one loud moment, this tracks the weighted average sound level over a 10-minute window. Our ceiling is 92 decibels on this metric, which, by the way, is well within industry safety standards. And at 92 decibels sustained, we could actually close to double our service length and still be inside a safe exposure margin. As for our actual numbers, our average across the evaluation period was 87.3 decibels, a pass rate of over 97%. Now, here's why this metric matters so much. When someone complains that the music is too loud, and your sound engineer says, we're at 88 decibels, it's fine. That's one data point in that moment, in that specific place in the sanctuary. But when you show a 10-minute weighted average across months of data, that's a pattern, that's a system, and that's useful information to have to share with the concerned person in the church. There's one more metric though. Metric number 3, this is the one I had never considered. Bass comfort. Is the bass physically fatiguing people even when the overall volume might read fine? The technical term is C minus A delta. Okay, now stay with me for a second because this is going to reframe how you think about every loudness complaint you've ever received, at least it did for me. Sound meters typically use what's called A weighting. Basically, they measure sound the way a young, healthy ear perceives it. It's great for overall loudness. Here's what it misses. As people age, they lose the ability to hear higher frequencies. But, and this is the key, they still feel bass pressure the exact same way. Because bass doesn't just hit your eardrums. As we all know, it vibrates your inner ear, your chest, your whole body. So when an older congregant says, the music is too loud, and your sound engineer looks at the A-weighted meter and says, we're at 88 decibels, that's perfectly fine. They could both be right. The overall volume can be fine, but the bass could be physically fatiguing that person in a way the meter isn't capturing, and perhaps even in a way that you're not really hearing, depending on your age and your ears. The C minus A delta tracks the gap between C-weighted SPL, which captures low frequencies, and A-weighted SPL. We target 8 to 12 decibels. Anything above 12 means the bass energy is disproportionately high relative to the overall mix. Our average across the evaluation period was 8.8 decibels, solidly in range, but we did find a few services that crept above 12. And when we cross-referenced those dates, guess what? They correlated with complaint weeks. Okay. Aha. And this is why this metric alone is worth everything we did, because it gave us a compassionate, data-driven response to the person who says it's too loud. Instead of, well, the meter says it's fine, we can say now, okay, you know what? We hear you, pun intended, and we actually track this specific thing. Let me look into it. That's pastoral. It's evidence-backed. It's scored against actual benchmarks, and it's not just about our personal preference. All right, so let me show you how to do this in your church. And I want to be upfront. This entire process took Pastor Justin roughly an hour or two to complete. That's it. 1 to 2 hours to gain literacy in a field he had no history in, analyze months of data, generate a formal report, and then compile an SOP, standard operating procedure, for our sound team. Step 1, you need monitoring software and a measurement mic. We'll put the details on what we use on the screen. The software logs SPL data continuously during every service. Step 2, let it run. You want at least 4 to 6 weeks of data before you analyze. More is better. We had about 4 months. And then step 3, export your logs. Ours came out to roughly 1,800 pages of raw data. Now, don't panic. You are not going to be the one reading all this data. You almost certainly cannot read it. So this is step 4. Open ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, whatever AI tool you use, and start prompting. If you've never used one before, maybe this is the right project to give it a try. Upload the logs. Ask it to identify the 3 metrics we talked about: loudness, safety, bass comfort. Ask it to flag anomalies. Ask it to tell you what's normal and what's not. And then step 5, build your framework. Set your targets. Create a quarterly evaluation reminder. We now review our sound data every quarter. And honestly, you don't even have to start from scratch. You don't have to do any of this. We put the exact sound monitoring guide that we built for our sound team with all the 3 metrics, the target ranges, the thresholds, everything in that free download linked in the description. You can take it, adapt it to your room and your team and your church, and have a system running as soon as this week. Again, to be clear, the AI doesn't replace your sound engineer, your sound guys, your sound ladies. It just gives more people in the church the ability to understand what they maybe already know. And that's the unlock, because now more people can have informed conversations, build accountability systems, and respond to complaints with actual evidence and compassion, instead of just guesswork and irritation. And that is such a better place to be in. Here's the thing I did not expect from this project, because the biggest win was not the data. It was not the report. It wasn't even the base metric, as cool as that was. The biggest win was this. The next time someone tells us the music is too loud, we don't have to get defensive. or frustrated. More importantly, we don't have to just dismiss what they say either. We just pull up the numbers, and 9 times out of 10, those numbers tell us that we're operating within safe, consistent, industry standard ranges. But on the occasions they don't, now we know exactly what to fix. Because we want the person who complained to feel heard. We want them to be taken seriously, right? We also want worship to be energetic and celebratory while remaining safe and comfortable for everyone, which is especially important for us as a multi-generational church. Maybe that's true for you as well. If you want the system, the sound monitoring guide, it's free. It's in the description. Go grab it. Well, thanks as always for your time, attention, and trust. The next video that you should watch is the new Church Social Media Masterclass. It's linked on the screen. That video is similar to this one in that we do a data analysis to establish church benchmarks for social media because we're in a brand new era of social that we're calling the syndication era. What we also offer in that video is a free social media audit for your church. So make sure to check it out. Again, it's linked on the screen.